What's up, Cloud Gamers? Welcome to CGX Cast. This is the Cloud Gaming Podcast. This is episode 22. Again, still blows my mind how many of these we've done. But so you guys can see here today, we have 4 people on the panel. Possibly we can get into 5. Give me a second. This always happens. But anyway, our fifth member or person is Duncan. If you guys didn't know, he just hosted a really kick-ass cloud gaming awards show. And again, kudos to him and his team for making that such a success. It's pretty incredible all they were able to do with that. But so he might join, he might not. We'll see. And Chief, as you guys know, he's been running like a chicken without a head with video creation. So he's gonna kind of sit this one out, but he might stop in to talk about Cyberpunk for a little bit, but we'll see. But yeah, it's just 4 of us. So we have some stuff to talk about, but the main focus for this podcast is going to be Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to talk the hell out of that game, talk about the experience, talk about what platform we thought ran it the best. And so to get started, these are our members. Let's start with Holtz. How are you, sir? What have you been doing? What game have you been playing? Also, what content creator have you been watching as of late?
So I've been playing over different platforms this week. I've not really had a good week with gaming. I've been playing the Spider-Man Remastered and failing because I've had a few glitches and crashes. So I sort of moved away from my PlayStation 5 for a bit while I was waiting for Cyberpunk. And then I was getting to the end chapters of Yakuza Like a Dragon. So that's nearly finished. So I can sort of put that to bed before I was waiting for Cyberpunk. And then I was been playing Cyberpunk over the weekend on Stadia. And the YouTuber that I've been watching is one called AI Angel. It's actually a virtual YouTuber. No, it's she pretends to be an artificial intelligence, and she's been playing Cyberpunk on a 3090 with full ray tracing and stuff like that. So just being out of curious, I've just been watching her this weekend, seeing how it performs on that graphics card.
So she's not a real human.
She is a real human, the creator, but she plays on it. He or she plays on it that she's an artificial intelligence living in a virtual world and playing virtual games. And her aesthetic is more like cyberpunkish as well. So she sort of likes all the ideas.
Nice. So that Cyberpunk will probably be a great game for her to be streaming.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's cool.
And then also Dr. Spaceman, and I've just been watching Clive as well. Everyone's just been playing Cyberpunk, so I've just been joining in just to have a little quick check of how people are progressing and what story life path they chose.
Right. So again, we'll get heavy in Cyberpunk, but just want to know for you, how has the experience been with the game on Stadia?
I think it looks gorgeous. It played really well, but my save got deleted, so I had to jump back in and play a little bit more. So,
wow, was there a reason for the delete, or
I don't know? I put a few hours in. On the weekend and actually signed up today, and it actually said your save is gone, default data. And I mean, I wasn't that far in it, but when I seen that message, I was like, oh my god, where's my save gone?
Yeah.
But on the first save, I was customizing my character. I wasted an hour between male and female, full customization. Fully investments, was blown away by the game, and then when I loaded up today, it just all gone. So I was just skipping to try and catch back up. Just as a default character.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Thanks for the update, Holtz. It's good to see you in here. Jerry, how have you been, sir? And what have you been up to? What game have you been playing? What platform? What content creator?
So it's just all Cyberpunk. Pretty much. I mean, and it's a shame because I did get my Luna invite, as I had mentioned to you guys in Discord.
Right.
We've had the Destiny 2 next gen upgrades come out,
right,
and a couple of other things. And there's just been no time to work on those because Cyberpunk is literally taking over every platform, every video, just everything for everybody, whether it's good or bad. Obviously, the game launched with all kinds of interesting stuff, but we'll get into that. I've been playing it a lot on GeForce Now and locally. I think it plays, as far as cloud goes, I think it's been playing best on GeForce Now over Stadia or anywhere else, just from my experience.
Cool.
And as far as who I'm watching, I haven't gotten to watch anybody because Cyberpunk is just it's in my brain. That's all I'm doing. So
right.
Unfortunately, I have as big of a backlog of YouTube subscription videos I need to watch as I do my
Right.
video games I need to play.
Right. Okay. Cool. Thanks again, Jerry. Yeah, it's again, we'll get more into Cyberpunk, but it's pretty interesting to hear you say that GeForce Now is your preferred platform. And it seems to be really popular right now, that game on GeForce Now. I think maybe it's because a lot of the PC gamers want to play it, but again, you need the dopest rig to play that, and GeForce Now is a good alternative. But yeah, cool to see. Cool to see. And Mark, you, sir, how have you been? What have you been playing? What platform? Also, what content creator have you been watching as of late?
Howdy. I have, before Cyberpunk took over everyone's life, I tried to get in a little bit more of Immortals Phoenix Rising. I think in the end, I may have mentioned this last week, I turned the difficulty down to story because I didn't have time to mess around with being skillful in that game. I wanted to get through as much of the story as possible before I knew it was just going to fall off the edge of the earth,
Right.
much like everything else with Cyberpunk. So I
Right.
played a little bit of that towards the start of the week, and then Cyberpunk. I wish I had played more on my own time. It had much like Jerry, much like you guys. I guess we're playing it for more content creation at the moment, which
Yeah.
which I mean, in terms of work, it's a fun way to look at doing work, definitely. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to spending some time with that to myself.
Cool. Yeah. Again, when you're a content creator, like it's all about creating content. So just having the time to play games, enjoy it, sit back, relax, doesn't happen as much as you would want it to. So yeah, get that for sure. All right, so go ahead.
So I was just going to say, I've been playing that on Shadow, testing it on the 2 tiers I have access today, which is Boost and Infinite.
Okay.
Recorded some comparison footage, so that'll be going out tomorrow. Just see the difference between the two. It's annoying I don't have access to an Ultra tier because I know for you guys in the US with the new tiers becoming available, Ultra is like a really nice middle ground, and that's what a
Yeah.
lot of people are going for.
Yeah.
So they want to see the gameplay on there, but I don't yet have access to an Ultra tier. So
Right.
all I can do is show the entry tier, the highest tier, and then I guess we average it out to guess what it would be in the middle.
Right.
And we'll get into it, but obviously what we were talking about before the show, which was some of the issues I've been having in actually trying to get into Cyberpunk on GeForce Now at the moment.
Right. Yeah, we'll definitely touch on that for sure. Cool. So let's get into this. Again, Phyllis, good to have you on. And again, Cyberpunk seems to be the game that has been on everyone's mind and the game that a lot of people have been playing. So let's talk about Cyberpunk. Again, it released on Google Stadia. It released on GeForce Now, even though it was a headache. And again, we'll get to that the first night or day it was available as a headache to get into. And then again, if you purchase PC, you can use Shadow, right, on Mac Sense to play it with a virtual PC. So cloud gaming, it was really good when it comes to Cyberpunk. It was available. Most of it ran successfully. So let's talk overall about experiences with it and which platform you guys felt like ran Cyberpunk the best for you guys, and which platform would you recommend to the viewers to choose when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077 Cloud. So to get started with this, Jerry, what's your take on Cyberpunk, and which platform would you recommend for the viewers to play this game on?
First, let me say, Holtz, I had the same thing happen on Stadia that you were talking about, where I lost my save, but was only like 30 minutes into it, so I don't know how widespread that is, but I had the same thing occur. I had it occur again on GeForce Now, but luckily I restarted the game and everything was back. And I was hoping that was going to happen on Stadia. That happened after that, but it didn't. So I don't know what's going on with some of the save stuff. Really strange. The amount of bugs are, some are highly entertaining, and some are, even though a lot of people say aren't game breaking, there are some game breaking bugs in there.
Right.
Anyone playing this game on PC, you got to watch out. If you die or reload a save, there's many times it cuts your performance in half. So you'll go from running at like 50 FPS smoothly to you reload in and you're capped at 25 and everything is just all kinds of screwed up and there's no way to fix it other than to restart. And it's happened to me about a half a dozen times on my RTX 2060 since launch. I haven't seen it happen on GeForce Now, which is interesting. The reason why I say it's played best for me on there, I've played about 8 hours on GeForce Now, 6 hours on my RTX 2060, and 5 hours on Stadia. So I've had a good amount of time. I've got about 3 hours on Shadow. So I've spread it all out, and I'm still
Nice.
putting together lots of videos and footage and everything else. It just felt like, even though it should be the same PC version of the game any of us are running, it felt better optimized for GeForce Now. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I think you kind of noticed that when you
Yeah.
were playing too. It, for some
Sure.
reason, didn't have all of the issues that a lot of people have been complaining about elsewhere.
Yep.
And that's why, for me, I'm kind of recommending GeForce Now, especially if you're a PC gamer and you don't have the hardware yet or you don't want to spend the money. Go Founders, grab Cyberpunk on Steam, GOG, whatever floats your boat, and you're going to love it. Comments in your guys' videos and in mine are so positive about
Yeah.
Cyberpunk on GeForce. It's really been awesome for them. Their marketing worked, the release worked.
Yep.
Cyberpunk release as a whole, iffy. I mean, there are definitely
Yeah.
some interesting stuff. I mean, I had the thing where I fell through an elevator and died. I know other people have had that where there's no floor in the elevator. You go in and you just go right through. I've had mirrors in the game that don't work ever. Like you go to them and they just are a white screen with nothing. All kinds of crazy stuff happening with that. Stadia would be my second choice if you don't have the local hardware to play. The convenience, I'll give it to them at 7:01 p.m. for me. It was there, ready
Yeah.
to go. It was
Right.
1 a.m. before it showed up on GeForce Now
GeForce
for me.
Now, yeah.
So the launch day kind of sucked for that, but yeah, GeForce Now, then Stadia, then Shadow, then local. If I'm kind of putting it in order.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. So you did run into that problem of trying to play the game on launch day and it wasn't available, right? Using, I think, is GOG or GOG, if you want to call it that. They would run into a lot of issues, right? Again, it was available for them first, and then Steam came later, but then people couldn't get on. I think it might have been the hype of the game, or maybe GOG was just not, prepared for that. But you ran into that issue as well, right?
Yeah, two-factor authentication issues with GOG and the store. I think the traffic, because Steam also, I had preloaded, but there was a patch. It was small, but I couldn't get it. Steam would crash and crash and crash, and I couldn't connect to the server and download the update for like 3 hours after launch. So even playing locally, I was having a problem for me. I think all the stores just got a ton of traffic. I think Cyberpunk is probably even bigger than most people expected for the launch. I mean, like it just felt like everybody was trying to play only that game at launch.
So true. So true. How about you, Holtz? You talked about Stadia, but did you play it anywhere else?
No, I was actually waiting just to see what people thought of the game first. On day one, I didn't jump straight into it because all the people that was complaining about glitches, I thought to myself, I didn't want to run into these glitches and ruin my experience. And then when I was hearing people saying it performs better on the likes of, current this new gen and Stadia, I thought to myself, well, I'll dive in, but I still wanted to wait just in case, Stadia couldn't perform Cyberpunk really well. But at the same time, I was waiting for my Premiere Edition to come through the door. So I was in two minds to say, well, should I wait for my Premiere Edition? Should I play Cyberpunk? Should I try it myself? What glitches will I actually run into? So I actually waited just maybe for 2 days. And then when I dived in, it absolutely looked pretty. Perfect, absolutely gorgeous. I've got the Pro subscription. I don't know if it's actually up what resolution is up to 4K 60. I don't know, but to me it actually looks like a lovely, gorgeous game. So when I've been playing it, everything was going smooth, and then when I loaded it up today, my save was deleted, and I was really quite confused. Like, cloud gaming, there should have been a backup of my save somewhere,
Right.
and I never actually got it back. So part of me is like, okay, well, I'll go to the forums, and I was checking over a lot of platforms that a few people on all platforms, cloud platforms and hardware, was having the same issue. So I couldn't blame the only place I was actually playing it on.
Okay.
But I will not be happy if I invest more hours and again and again
Yeah.
and again, and it gets deleted. Losing a few hours is great because I can just skip the intros and tutorials and stuff like that. That's great. But if I'm really invested and these issues are still occurring, then my hate is, well, not my hate, my frustration is going to go towards Cyberpunk for releasing a glitchy game.
Right.
it's great that they had a huge passion, but I don't really want to waste my time in
Yeah.
experiencing broken games.
Yeah. It's frustrating. Again, that game is a time sink, right? You spend a lot of time, upgrading your character, enjoying the story, and to have that being deleted. I mean, talk about anxiety of playing a good game, right? You're always
So,
anxious.
Due to recommendations, I've actually suggested 2 more friends now, and they actually got their Premier Editions as well, and they actually got Cyberpunk. So there's like 4 of my friends now playing on Stadia. I mean, I can wish I can promote it, but I saw other platforms. But at the moment, I really want them on board the Stadia hype and seeing what games you can all play together.
Yeah.
And getting a free Premier Edition was just a win for them.
True. Definitely, again, good giveaway promotion from the Stadia team, right? Getting the free premiere with the pre-order. I mean, I got a couple of people on board too. I can't refuse. It's a good offer to refuse for sure. But cool. How about you, Mark? How has the experience been with Cyberpunk, and which platform would you recommend people play it on?
So I think let's acknowledge the bugs because they're definitely there. Yeah. I think I saw something. I think it was a deleted Reddit post from one of the devs who maybe got in trouble for saying this, but they said despite this, the amount of delays, even with this December release date, they had said that ideally, if it were up to them, they would add an additional 4 to 5 months of development time on to polish the game, and I think that's apparent. Just from like we've been saying, silly kind of gameplay bugs. Some of them are quite funny, and then it borders irritating if it's like game breaking. Yeah, absolutely. I've only experienced one. I'm pretty sure I've only experienced one bug so far, which is, and I think I've done like 5 hours of gameplay so far. So I think that's pretty good from my point of view. This is just based off what I've heard other people talk about their issues. My one bug was starting off the game in the bar. I walked past a drink, and a little consumable thing popped up for it, and it didn't go away until the first cutscene. So I had left the bar. We were like an hour into the mission. I'm in a car park, and the drink from the bar is still up on my screen. so that was kind of weird. But yeah, that's just the funny one. Really, I've had nothing game breaking so far. So fingers crossed. My experience so far pretty good. In terms of actual gameplay, the optimization, I didn't play from kind of midnight. I played 8 o'clock the day of release, by which time I'm pretty sure the day one patch had already come out and been applied. So optimization wise, I'm extremely impressed with what they've been able to do, especially when you look at the game size. What is it, like 60-70 gigs?
Yeah.
Compare that to something like Call of Duty, which is just growing legs. The optimization they've been able to do is absolute wizardry. I have no idea how they got a game that looks this good into something that size.
Right.
It's pretty amazing. But moreover, you don't really have to worry about the size with what we're talking about, because what it's done for cloud gaming this week, I think is pretty extraordinary. It's really got the conversation of cloud gaming really mainstream this week. People without local hardware, people who don't have the space for it, have just turned to, okay, what's my alternative? And there's so many conversations going on about cloud gaming that it's really become mainstream this week, which I think is awesome. So in terms of where I played it, I mainly went with Shadow Infinite.
Okay.
Because I had to have all the ray tracing. I'm a bit of I'm a sucker for the high fidelity. Right. So I had to have my shiny puddles and my flashy lights and shadows and all of that. As I said, did some testing today on Boost as well. Pretty impressed with the performance on Boost. You can definitely play Cyberpunk on Boost. You don't need one of the higher tiers. Obviously, you can't get the same kind of performance out of it, but it is 100% playable. And then the reason I purchased it in the first place from GOG was obviously before GeForce Now made their announcement to say we're going to support Epic and Steam as well. It was just GOG. Yeah. So that's why I bought it from them. And now I'm kind of annoyed because I have this one single game which I need to launch from a GOG Galaxy launcher. Like, I didn't want to add that to my desktop. It looks horrible. Yeah. I want my games in one place.
Right.
So yeah, but I bought it from GOG so that I could play it on GeForce Now. And as we were saying before this, the issue I'm currently having is going into GeForce Now, logging into GOG, trying to launch the game which I've played from a GOG launcher on a virtual machine somewhere else, i.e. Shadow. Trying to launch it from GeForce Now says there's a newer version of your save file somewhere. I don't know where it is. I can't access it, so I can't open the game. So I have yet to be able to experience it on GeForce Now, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a bummer.
There's that, and also the fact that I signed up to Founders, one, so I could experience obviously the RTX hardware and give that a test. But just for playing it in general and the content we put out, it's easier to not have to wait in the queues. And I'm currently still in a queue.
Are you serious?
We're branching 45 minutes now. It says I have 8 minutes to go, but it said 12 minutes about 23 minutes ago. So I don't believe it.
That is insane that you have to wait that long to access it. Wow.
And I imagine that's just Cyberpunk. I think if I try to launch another game on GeForce Now, it's going to go straight in. It's probably, I don't know what they're doing on the back end. I know, no idea. I'm not even going to try and fathom what they're doing. It could be very specific server blades or something that they're using to power Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Compared to usual, because sometimes it can vary, right? Yeah. On the Founders tier, sometimes you get like the 20AC or the Tesla T10 something or other. Who knows? It might be very specific hardware they're using just to launch Cyberpunk, and that is maxed out right now.
Yeah, it's so frustrating, the wait time for that. You're not the only one complaining about it, but it's kind of a bummer because that's a huge game, right? And again, people are struggling with playing in PC, so it's a good get for GeForce Now, and just people converting or coming over to the platform. But then run to that issue, that might turn some people away off. But
absolutely, if this is their first experience,
exactly.
like we said, this game has made it go mainstream, so there's more eyes on it. So those more eyes, they're coming over, they're giving it a try. This is their first experience, and if it isn't going smooth, maybe that's their one and only, first impression. Like, well, not for me, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. So let's break some stuff down. There's several areas that I want to cover with Cyberpunk. Just number one, we'll touch on each of these, but was the game worth the hype? Is a question that I want to look into. Other questions, should it have been delayed? It's another question that I want to address with the panel. And then the other one is, would you recommend this for cloud gaming and to play this game in the cloud? And so let's get into, was the game worth the hype for you guys? For anyone, again, just want to open this up. Normally we take turns, but let's have an open discussion. It's only 4 of us, so we can get into this. But was the game worth the hype for you guys?
Well, for me, when I loaded it up, I was really impressed by the graphics, and I thought to myself, oof, they've actually put some polish in this game. So when I first started, I thought to myself, it really just looks good. It really looks like next gen. I'm really hyped for it. But when I encountered the saves and some glitches and stuff like that, and now hearing that the developers said that they could have easily took another 5 months, I wish they just came out and said it, because I would rather they admitted that it needed more polish for multiple platforms or next gen or whatever cloud, and made the actual finished product that they needed to do.
Right.
So I was hyped, but once I encountered these issues, it sort of, the steam went down a little bit, and now I'm sort of worrying how much time and effort I actually want to put in this game over maybe until all these patches in 5 months come out. So, yeah. I mean, I'm always hyped for my pre-order games. And that's why I actually pre-order them, especially even on cloud. And I know people say, why don't you just buy on day one? You don't have to pre-order them on cloud. But to me, I put my money aside. I pre-ordered. I loved the bonus it came with Stadia. And I was really hyping this game. I told all my friends about it. They were all jumped on board, and I really hope that throughout the week I don't get phone calls off my friends going, oh, you hyped us up, and I could have played this anywhere else, and it's your fault. And then I have to contact Cyberpunk and Google and say, look, what, I'm getting hate off my friends now. So my hype did actually promote some friends jumping and buying Cyberpunk.
Right. So if we were to have like a hype meter, 10 meaning like this game is like the hype is, if you want to call it another word, I know. And then 0 meaning this game did not meet the hype. Where would you rank it?
If it met the height, I'd say about 7.5. I mean, I'm not going to be
7.5?
I'm not going to be unfair on it. You know what I mean? I'm only early in the game, and to me, it looks lovely, but I have to put a bit more hours into it to actually give it a full review. And was it worth my hype? But at the moment, looking at the characters, the customization, the graphics, and sort of the way the plot's going, because I've seen multiple life choices, I do actually think it will be a game that's worth the hype.
After all the patches.
Well,
right now.
At the moment, on my experience, I need the patches just because I'm a bit fearful. But when I've been watching other people on YouTube that've been really enjoying, that was hyped just as me, they've been having a flawless experience. So,
cool.
It sort of balanced itself out. But yeah, 7.5.
Okay. Mark, did this game meet the hype for you?
It's a very difficult question. I think it depends on how much you were invested before it came out. There are people who based every waking hour around this game pre-release, consuming as much content as possible, going through the Reddit posts, just trying to get rumors and screenshots and footage and literally everything. And if you're one of those people, that raises the bar for you a lot. It sets expectations in your mind. And sometimes those are outlandish expectations that can just never be met, especially when a game has been in development since 2012.
Right.
For myself personally, it has met my expectations because I wasn't one of those people. Obviously, like everyone else in the gaming community, I kept my eye on it. I indulged in the odd piece of content when there were updates about it. But I went in kind of a blank slate. I didn't do too much research. I didn't, consume everything under the sun. So my expectations were not low. They just weren't set extraordinarily higher like they might have been for some people. So to me, going in was probably the best way because it met my expectations because there weren't too many to begin with. Like I said, my experience so far, other than a couple of funny little quirky bugs, nothing kind of game breaking. So there's nothing that kind of deterred my experience in that sense so far. The main thing for me is so far it seems to be like the absolute best example we have of what a next gen game should look like. I think when I was streaming it, the first time you got to freely walk around, it felt like walking around inside a cutscene. Obviously, especially when you've got ray tracing and everything like that turned up to absolute max, it literally feels like walking around inside a cutscene. You shouldn't be able to control it like that. It makes you want to when you're in control of the camera, it makes you become a cameraman. Suddenly, you want to pan slowly and get some nice shots, even though it adds nothing to the game experience or anything. Right. You just want to make it look as pretty as possible. Right. So yeah, for me, it met my expectations. I can see why it may not have for some other people. So on that scale, I would probably I'd go at 8 for me.
Okay. Yeah. Good score. Good score. How about you, Jared? What's your take? Did it meet the hype for you?
Yeah, I think so. And Holtz and Mark have pretty much hit on all the important parts. Taking all of the bugs and issues aside, I'm not surprised to hear them say it should have been delayed a little bit. I think it should have went instead of April to September to November to December. Let's just take it April 2021 from April 2020, and they could have worked on a lot of that stuff. But we say that about so many games that come out. I'm kind of used to it. Like Mark was saying, when you first come out of the first scene where you get to walk around in the city, you feel free for the first time. I actually had this moment of excitement when I walked out. There was such a crowd of people walking by, playing on PC, on GeForce Now, the cars, the environment, and I instantly, where my hype came from was being a huge Johnny Mnemonic movie fan and Blade Runner. Those two movies for me, because I didn't watch a lot of the lore, I didn't watch the Night City Wire videos they made. I kind of kept it a mystery on purpose because I wanted to experience it when it came out. But I knew because of my background and what movies I love, what lore I love, and what I was expecting to see out of this game, Yes, there's a lot of issues, but hype-wise, definitely, I'm gonna sit
Wow,
at an 8 or a 9 because I'm more hyped now, hours
nice.
into the game, than I was when it first came out.
Oh my god.
It sucks when you lose a save or when some mission gets
Yeah.
broken, you can't finish it, but I will stand faithful with CDPR. The Witcher and other games that they've been faithful to, they're not going to drop this game anytime soon. There's multiplayer modes coming, DLCs coming, patches coming. So I stand faithful. It's not going to take that long for them to start rushing out the content we need to fix it. And my hype is going to stay up there for a while. And I'm just looking forward to, like Mark said, get done testing because I just want to spend some me and Cyberpunk time together,
Right.
just us alone. So I really and explore. It's such an exciting place to
Yeah.
explore Night City. It's an adult feeling
Yes.
game. It's great. It's very mature, and it's something that I've been wanting to play for a long time. A game
Yeah.
like this.
Speaking about adult game, the beginning, I don't want to ruin anything, so I'm just going to be brief. But first of all, customization, you guys have heard about, the customization part of things. I was doing that. The wife was sitting there watching me
Same.
play. And when it came to that part, she was just like, is that and you can make it bigger? What is this? And so I had to explain. And then right after that, like I believe it's 10 minutes in, just a scene where you have to pick up a body, and then there's that too. But again, don't want to ruin the story for you guys. But yeah, man, this get prepared, guys. I mean, Watchdog, you have to be concerned about the profanity. This game, you have to be mindful of the nudity. Just
Well,
being real.
when I was customizing my male character to see which one, when I seen that you can make him more endowed, the first thing I laughed went, "Ha! Well, it has to be big if you want it to launch rockets." And I was like, "Ha, that's funny." And then I just turned over to the female character, and then as I was carrying, I was like, yeah,
Well, I was so lucky with this one because I'd heard that some other creators had stumbled when it came to streaming it, and my stream was so and this was one of the benefits for me of not jumping in at midnight, because we would have found out together. But
Right.
jumping in 8 hours into its release, number one, I got the patch, that was great. Number two, all of my community had already seen gameplay, so when I
Right.
started to stream, everyone in chat said to me, go to the settings, turn off nudity, turn off copyrighted music,
Oh.
and it saved the stream. I mean, yeah, to be fair, the stream still hasn't been hit for the, let's say, profanity. That's got under the radar, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm so thankful for my community for shouting that out at the start of the stream, because we got, I think, probably 5 or 6 steps into customizing the male character, and I didn't see that option yet, but I know it was right there because I've been back in since.
They
Just
were looking out for
curious.
you, Mark.
Absolutely,
They
yeah.
were looking
So,
out for you. That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, it sounds like this game kind of met all you guys' expectations. I would say for me, like Jerry was saying, I haven't really invested a lot of time into playing it. I want to, but I think I only got like about 3 or 4 hours into this game because again, content. But yeah, I can't wait. I feel like right now there's so much hype for this game, and there's so many videos, that we're talking about doing. But I feel like once those vids are done, I cannot wait to just chill and play this game and relax and enjoy it. But so far, I would say the game is at an 8 for me, 7.58. I got to play it some more. I haven't. There's one bug I ran into. I was like walking around and stuff just kept popping up. That's the only bug, but it wasn't like a game breaking bug. So I mean, I can live with that. But yeah, I again cannot wait to just put more time into this. It looks great, and I love the gunplay. It feels good. So yeah, definitely excited for this one for sure.
Well, speaking of gunplay, I'm literally a terrible shot when people start running and taking cover. So I went into the settings to try and sort of give myself a little bit of auto aim, and I was like, oh, no, it was only off or standard. I was like, oh, can't I just tweak it a little bit just to give me a little bit more? Because with the sensitivity, I'm like, oh, nearly got you, missed. So I wish I could tweak that a little bit.
True, true. All right, so the next thing I want to move into with this game is, should it have been delayed longer? I know people gave CD Projekt Red a lot of crap for delaying this game, 3 or 4 times this year. But so you guys can see, it could have used more time, right? Do you think it should have been delayed longer, Or do you think that they should have just, gave it a certain date and like not lead us into this question does not sound right. So my thing is, should it have been delayed longer? Or do you think the way they should have went about it was just give us a 2021 date? Let's say summer 2021. What's your take on the delay?
Absolutely not.
To what part? Yeah.
I don't think they should have delayed it.
Okay.
I think they had already faced probably close to the max amount of backlash you can face from the community for their previous delays.
Right.
That they pushed it all the way to the end of 2020. The tipping point would have been pushing it into another year, so into 2021. I think they get you get a certain amount of opportunities, and then you really start to lose faith and support from your kind of core fan base, really. So I think it would have hurt them more to delay it than what we're seeing now in terms of there's some news stories and things going around about bugs. There's already been a patch day one. I imagine they're just going to work effortlessly to get like as many patches out to fix all of these little things as soon as possible. The benefit now is they've got millions of, I guess we're kind of beta testers. They've got millions of beta testers. They're going to, the amount of time it would have taken just their team to find all of these bugs, they now have 1 million people looking for them. And if they report them, then they'll get fixed much quicker. So the way I see it is the stage that it's in now, it's going to get fixed quicker, and we're going to get a nice polished game much sooner now that it's out in people's hands than it would have if they had kept it themselves for another 4 or 5 months.
True.
So yeah, I think all of this stuff will be forgotten pretty quick. Come probably January, it will pretty much be close to what it should have been, kind of in terms of polish, and we would have forgotten all about it.
So, question to you: do you think they were too ambitious with their release date?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No, I don't think so.
So with me, with the developer saying he wanted more months, I think he should have given them. But see, that's from a selfish point of view, because I've got next gen and I've got cloud devices. But I still worry that if they actually pushed it back by 5 months, they would have maybe not supported last gen. They would have sort of scrapped it. So the more ambition they would have put into it and polish, it would have ran more worse for the huge majority of gamers that are playing on PlayStation 4 and Xbox and stuff like that. So putting that in mind, they should have just released it ASAP. And then, of course, the more they actually wait, the more they actually cut off the profit that they were making DLC. So if they waited another 5 months and then released DLC so close to that time window, people would have said, oh, that could have been in the base game. Why are you charging us? So it's better that they sort of fix it now. And then you've got a roadmap of when the DLC and when future expansions and multiplayer is coming out. So I think it's good that they've actually sort of captivated it now for a last gen, and then maybe in a year after you add all the perks, you can add a definite edition with all the bells and whistles that was promised.
Okay, Jared, what's your take on this? Should it have been delayed?
Yeah, same thing. No, they shouldn't have delayed it. They already had too many delays. The game's been 7 years in development, and I think it's better just to get it in everybody's hands that wanted to start playing it. I think you're going to get a lot less complaint about these bugs and issues than you are if they would have delayed the game again. And just like Mark was saying, they're getting so many more people to play the game now. They're finding things that they didn't even know was there, I'm sure. And they could have released the game in 4 or 5 months and still had huge bugs to fix because they didn't have millions of players out there trying to play it on all kinds of different hardware configurations. So definitely not. I think the release date was fine. They delayed as much as they could. You are getting a fully playable game that you can play from beginning to end with 3 different story paths, minus the game save losses that need to be fixed right away. That's the first thing they need to fix, is making sure people don't lose progress. Then worry about performance. But besides that, absolutely not. I think you couldn't go any longer, and holiday season needed Cyberpunk. So definitely.
2020 needed Cyberpunk for sure. All right, good take. Good, Mark. I like what you were saying about. I guess the easiest. This game is so big, right? The easiest way to find out all the bugs is for us to pretty much be beta testers for them, even though we had to pay for it. But yeah, okay, all right. Well, we'll see. Again, the reviews has been mixed with this. Some people are praising this game highly, and some people are saying that it probably would have benefited from having a little more time in the cooker. But so far, I'm enjoying it. Again, 7.58 for me, and the majority of you guys rate it pretty high too. So cool. So next question I want to move into here is, which platform do you guys feel was optimized the best and had the best like graphical settings, right? Again, just want to shout out Stadia. When I was doing my live video hyping this game up before it came out, I was crossing my fingers hoping that they gave us like a performance mode to where you can either choose frame rate or quality, and they did. Again, moving forward, I think most games should have this. By the way, Immortal Phoenix Rising just updated the game on Stadia to where you can do this now, which is really cool. But just want to know for you guys, which do you feel was optimized? Which platform do you feel Cyberpunk was optimized the best for? And also, which one had the best like graphical settings? So to get started, host, what's your take?
Well, I've really checked comparisons between people's videos that are uploaded. They've tried it between GeForce Now. I mean, me personally, I wanted to play it on Shadow Infinite just to have ray tracing and mess around with all the settings just to make it look good.
Yeah.
But without not getting access to the Infinite tier, I can only play it on Stadia at the moment. That's the platform I choose because I'm so used to the graphical and ease of access, and I didn't want any lines, and I was happy with the price entry, and and having that, once again, I mentioned it before, that Premier Edition just swung it for me to choose that. And by choosing it, I'm really happy with my purchase on Stadia. As I said, it runs flawless. I don't know what the resolution is, and I don't know what the frame rate, but I knew it actually is running smooth. So, and that's just, I've not even tinkered with the settings. I've not even tried performance mode yet. So maybe a few more hours in, if I notice stuff are not going smooth, maybe I'll just tick that box and see what happens.
Okay, so you playing frame rate mode, right? Or are you playing quality?
I've not
You
changed
haven't.
any. It's what the default was, so I assume it's just not performance, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it must be just visual.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, cool. Mark, what's your take on this when it comes to optimization, and which platform do you feel was optimized the best for Cyber?
So as I said, at the moment, I've only been able to test it myself personally on the two shadow tiers, so Boost and Infinite. I really wanted to test it on GeForce Now, obviously having those issues. And I hear really good things about Stadia, and it seems like Stadia had the smoothest initial launch. So seconds, from its launch, it was the one platform where there was no access issue. Things like, I mean, it now sucks hearing Holtz's issues with saving, but it seemed like they possibly had the smoothest launch in terms of optimization. Obviously, from what I have tried, Shadow Infinite does kind of chew it up. From what I've heard, even like the RTX 3080 struggles like to maintain everything in this game. So my experience so far, when I loaded it up on the Infinite tier, it chooses your graphic settings for you. So going in, it had already preset everything to basically ultra. With ray tracing turned on, DLSS set to performance. There was only two things that it randomly set to medium, and I think it was like how fluffy the clouds are and something to do with very specific shadows. So it wasn't a major setting that it had tried to turn down or anything. So, and this was the recommended setting. So it was really good to see that going in on that tier, which is like the highest shadow tier, that a game like Cyberpunk does go, yep, ticks all the boxes. You can set everything pretty much to ultra with ray tracing. And doing the performance testing today with the frame rate counter on, it is pushing even the Titan RTX equivalent GPU to its limits. It gets to about, it sits around 97%, which is interesting to see. But frame rates are they're not quite. I think similar to Jerry, I played at 1440. and it sits around probably between 50 and 60, averaging out probably around 55. So it's not a solid 60 FPS, but in no way, shape, or form was I kind of expecting it with this one.
Right.
What's really weird is if you try to turn it down. So I obviously playing with the presets. I set it to if you've got RTX hardware, you get an ultra and a medium ray tracing option, and then ultra, high, medium, low without ray tracing. You get a lot more presets to play with, which is quite cool.
That's cool.
But if you turn it to medium and low without ray tracing, my frame rates actually dipped on Infinite. It was almost like it had to do more work to suppress the graphical content, and I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I was making a complete guess, and I even said it in a video which I'm editing at the moment, but I assumed it was actually having to do more work to suppress those graphics and tone it down, so it actually took a hit on frame rate. So it's better performance to run it at max, which is crazy.
Yeah. True. Jerry, I saw you shaking your head.
Yeah. Mark is so close.
Oh.
He's so close.
Please.
Yeah, no, excellent. So this game was developed for PC, straight up. This is a PC game that's been taken to console and Stadia and made to work there. Even on Stadia, as good as it looks when you boot it up and as good as it runs, you start comparing it to something like Mark's Infinite or local RTX 2060 3080 or something, it is so far miles behind anywhere near what the PC version is doing. With density of the cities, population, the immersion of the game, the amount of crowds, I don't know if Mark's noticed this, like if you play on Boost or Stadia, especially, or Xbox in the city, and then you go and play on something that you can put the crowd density all the way to high, it's a dramatic difference, the amount of people that are out and about doing things. The performance hit you get, this game is so optimized for ray tracing, for DLSS and RTX, and he's completely right. As soon as you turn off ray tracing and you have an RTX card, you're going to lose performance, because the resources it takes to handle the lighting in that game without ray tracing, we've gotten to a point where that's harder to run now than ray tracing. So we're actually getting to a point where ray tracing is going to start being easier to run than our old ways of running lighting in games. And I think this is the first ray tracing game I've seen to do that. So that is really interesting that the optimization and the tech is coming far enough, whether it's a 2000, entry level series RTX card or all the way to a 3080, 3090. That optimization is crazy now, what they're able to start doing with ray tracing. The resources are actually less now than the old school way of illuminating the world and getting your shadows and everything to work. So it's really strange. If you have an RTX card, don't bother turning off ray tracing and DLSS. It's no point. You're going to get a prettier game and more performance if you leave it on.
There you go. We learned something, Jerry. Appreciate that.
I've been so deep into the PC Cyberpunk thing. It's because you guys know I'm just extra nerdy for that. So yeah, I've been a little ridiculous with it.
That's awesome. Appreciate the insight for sure. Sure. Cool. So Holt, you gave your take on this. Are you, just curious, are you going to actually try this on other platforms? Are you just going to stick with Stadia?
No, at the moment I've invested the money into Stadia. I don't have any excess cash to actually go and buy it on a PC. And maybe if the sale price goes down on PC and maybe the Shadow Infinite comes a lot faster than it's proposed in Europe, of course I'm going to play it with the RTX and all that. But I don't know which one's going to come first, the Infinite tier for Shadow or RTX sort of effects coming to Stadia. So I don't know where to invest my money. And with the developers saying they're going to put polish in, maybe I should wait and see which is the best lighting or type of effects in the next few months.
Wait, so they say they're going to put polish in the Stadia version?
Yeah, they might put more sort of artificial lighting effects. I'm not sure. I'm not the developer. I'm just assuming that if they wanted to make the game more prettier for other platforms, they'll do something like that. But if I get my hands on the Infinite tier in 2021, maybe mid, and the game is cheap, I will actually switch over, and then hopefully we might actually have a cross-save feature there. So
cool. All right. So we talked about optimization, performance, and again, I think Infinite right now, I think, is where you want to be in the cloud for sure. Again, local, like Jerry was saying, is probably one of the best ways if you have a really good rig to play this game on, like a 3080, 3090, 3070 even, will be the best optimized. But then I would say again, Infinite for cloud. But again, Google Stadia has performance settings. You guys can mess around with it, see which one works best for you. I love that, and I can't stress how awesome that is for me, at least. So let's get into the last topic of Cyberpunk for this podcast. I want to again spend this game is so big right now is what pretty much everyone's talking about, and I think this is really really good for cloud gaming. The fact that you can't play this that well on traditional PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, right? To play this pretty well, you need a next gen or a good PC rig. So just want to know for you guys on the panel, how big is this game to showcase cloud gaming? Do you think cloud gaming is more in the spotlight now because of this game? Do you feel like it's doing good things for cloud gaming, or do you think it didn't make that big of an impact? So to get started with this, Mark, what's your take?
I think so. I think this is probably one of. I mean, we've had some big games this year. This is the first one I can see almost being the poster boy for cloud gaming.
Right.
The one where it's like, with your existing hardware that you own, whether it's a PC that you haven't upgraded this year or a console that you bought and you haven't gone next gen this year, if it's something you already have and haven't invested in this year, good luck. Like, you're going to struggle to play it, or you just flat out won't be able to play it, and that is leaving people with this dilemma, or this choice to make. Do I invest in expensive local hardware, whether it be a next gen console or an improved GPU, both things which are as of end of 2020 are impossible to get unless you overpay a scalper. So your options are pay through the nose on like eBay for something that shouldn't cost that much, or you start looking in the cloud, which at the moment is getting great mainstream attention, is a completely viable option for playing this, across all of the services. It runs, it performs, and it's a completely viable option now, especially kind of like GeForce Now this week has I think probably receive the most mainstream attention, both through this and being an official partner of the Game Awards 2020.
Yeah.
They have kind of been in the spotlight this week, and that's really good for cloud gaming as a whole. I think we've said before, like, when one of these services does well, goes mainstream, gets lots of attention, people start to see it as a viable option. That then spreads, and they're like, well, if this one works, maybe this one does, and they start,
Right.
and get more cloud gamers. That's how that works.
Yeah. So I've seen multiple people cover this game around GeForce Now, and I can't tell you how popular. I would say this game is probably more popular in GeForce Now than Stadia. But Jerry, you can probably attest to this too. But yeah, it's just pretty cool to see. You're right, Mark. I think this game definitely has put GeForce Now on the map, right? The fact that you can run it for so cheap in the cloud, I think is getting a lot of hype and a lot of attention right now, right? But Jared, let's go to you. What's your take on this? Do you feel like this game made an impact for cloud gaming?
Yeah, I think in general we all kind of feel that way. And of course, um, with the Cyberpunk giveaway with new RTX cards and GeForce Now being given away with RTX cards and the launch and the hype and everything, I kind of expected GeForce Now to get more attention with Cyberpunk, but I think Stadia is benefiting pretty well from this also, and having the performance options like you were speaking about, just like consoles on day one for those of us who want the higher frame rate and those who want the more the 4K and the visuals going on. I think that's a nice spot. Stadia is definitely the most convenient. One thing really quickly, I think the reason why we say maybe Stadia shouldn't just open up some of their free games to everybody all the time is exactly what you see happening to Mark on GeForce Now.
Yeah,
If you flood servers with a lot of people, guess what
true.
happens? Somebody can't play. And that's just going to be the way of it. Nobody has unlimited server capacity. It doesn't exist yet. So
Yeah.
no matter what happens, something can get popular enough to where even those of us who pay and shouldn't wait will wait. So I think it's seeing that happen to GeForce Now and as much resources as they have. I'm glad Stadia's been taking the steps that they take to kind of control that flow of traffic, because I've never had an issue getting
True.
on one of my Stadia games. So I mean, I can give them props there. But Definitely. I mean, GeForce Now is benefiting, cloud gaming's benefiting. How appropriate is it that Cyberpunk happens to be the game, a futuristic game where our internet's not even accessible anymore? The dark net
Right.
in that game is actually the game that's really bringing cloud gaming to people's eyes. I know you have so many. I don't know how many comments I have that say I'm a PS4 player.
Yep.
Oh my God, no, I can't play
Yes.
Cyberpunk on here. I saw your video, signed up for GeForce Now,
Yep.
connected my PS4 controller, and yes, this is
Yep.
amazing. Thank you.
Yep.
So cloud gaming, people are looking at it differently than they did even at 6 months, a year
Yeah.
ago. It's amazing to see what's happening in the shift
Yeah.
of mindset of where you can game.
So true. And you have the media like The Verge and other people just saying, Stadia is a good option to play this game on. And so, yes, it's making headway, man. It's pretty good stuff. But Holt, what's your take on this?
Well, what I've seen all over the internet is I've seen loads of people actually like they're really impressed. Wow, Cyberpunk on my phone. Wow, on my tablet, on my Shield TV. So it's
Right.
actually opened up for everyone to say, wow, I never really thought cloud would actually work, especially
Yep.
with a huge game like this. And look at me, I'm playing it on my Shield TV and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So I think this game is an absolutely great showcase game for a lot of people. And I would actually, if I was on my tablet at the moment, I would drop it to performance mode to have better frame rates and maybe have 1080 just on the go. And just to
Yeah.
have a AAA game like Cyberpunk on the go really, really excites me also. So
Yeah.
I can see why it's actually booming the cloud, and
Yeah.
it only hypes me up more for that. Well, what's the next big title to come to the cloud system? So now we've all seen how successful Cyberpunk can be. I really hope that more developers actually go, well, we're starting to see a shift in people's opinion towards cloud. They seem to be enjoying it, so let's make our games going for the world.
Right. No,
Just
true.
quickly to Jerry's point, absolutely right, because this week is probably the first time, multiple times I've seen Shadow say, sorry, there are too many people on right now, so we can't get you on. That's never used to be a thing.
Yeah.
But as of Cyberpunk, I mean, I've just got into mine after an hour of trying, and it almost stopped me from streaming on Thursday because I didn't preload it before. I just assumed I could log straight in, and I'd walked on, and it loaded a minute before my stream went live. So that was fun. And,
That's crazy.
and
So do you think it's lack of service, or do you think they've prioritized the blades for Cyberpunk intentionally?
I think based on availability, their activation stuff, I think it's lack of server. It basically says we need to wait for somebody to log off to get you on, like they have hit max capacity.
Oh, wow.
Which is super interesting.
That is interesting. I know Max Settings, they're struggling right now too with this game. So yeah, this game is. You shaking your head, Jerry?
Poor Max Settings. I feel so bad
Yeah.
for their situation.
Yeah.
They have such a fantastic cloud PC
They
service
do.
there for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Then they're expanding the EU and stuff like that. And for
Yeah.
Cyberpunk to
I
not
know.
run, I've been
I
testing it like every
know.
few hours. I jump on and pray that maybe it'll work so I can make a video. And
Yeah.
it's a shame. It just hasn't yet. I'm sure it will, and we'll all jump on it when it does. But it's such a shame that such a good cloud PC service we can't show running this game right now.
Right. No, this, again, a lot of cloud game platforms are benefiting from this game. Like we said, GeForce Now Stadia getting good press. I feel like this would have put Maxen in a positive light. Here's another virtual PC that can, handle this game with a 2080 rig, right? But again, they're just running into a lot of issues, and it's a bummer because this was or should have been that showcase game for them as well. But hopefully they get it fixed. Like you're saying, Jerry, we're checking into, and hopefully we can help them out to showcase it.
Well, let's hope that with the demands on GeForce Now, sort of NVIDIA just sort of go quick. We need to get our Ampere cards out quick to actually populate more blades and get like people more hyped in the service with more increase in graphics by saying, well, look, why this game is hot. We need to push our tech even more to demonstrate
Sure.
what the potential of GeForce Now going forward is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so I think we've beat Cyberpunk as much as we can, right? We've talked so much about it. Great game. If you guys haven't experienced it yet, if you guys on the fence, just know, yes, the reviewers are saying that there are bugs, and like we've discussed here, there are bugs, but it's a testament of how great this game is, where people are still satisfied with the game with the amount of bug that it has. So I would highly recommend it. And you've heard a lot of people here, rate it pretty high and highly recommend it too. So go check it out. This is, again, one of those situations that really puts cloud gaming on the map. So be a part of history, support this game. It's pretty cool what's going on right now. All right, so let's hop into the news, because as crazy as this week was with Cyberpunk, there's also cloud gaming news. Not a lot, but some. So let's get into GeForce Now. 3 games was released for the platform this week, right? So we had Cyberpunk 2077, which was same day release, right? We had Pillars of Eternity, which is a free and epic game, and we have Tyranny, which is a free and epic game too. So those 3 games was released on GeForce Now platform. I've heard some of you guys talk about one game that you've played, but the other 2, anyone from here pick any of these games up or play any of them? Holtz, what's your take?
I've clicked on the free game Pillars of Eternity. It's a game that I've always wanted to play. But then when I checked out Tyranny, I thought to myself, oh, it looks so like Pillars of Eternity. So if I've got Pillars of Eternity, I might as well enjoy that game and then actually just wait for this other game. So I was only invested in clicking on one game this week.
Which was
what Pillars of Eternity.
Okay.
So will I actually get round to fully enjoy it? Probably not.
No.
Because it was free on Epic and it's something that I've always wanted to try.
Right.
I did click free. I did click free to get it.
Cool. How about you, Jared? What's your take on these 3 games?
Both free Epic Game Store games and Cyberpunk. So I mean, you can't go wrong. We have Immortals Phoenix Rising in those highlights, and I don't know if you guys saw, because it came out after our news, like what, Thursday, Friday? GeForce Now does the automatic highlights for Cyberpunk. So
Yes.
that I noticed when I logged in, it said now doing Cyberpunk highlights and stuff. So that was really cool. They added that quickly. I mean, it was almost there at launch. It was like the next day. So pretty cool. Yeah, great week. I mean, it's freaking Cyberpunk on GeForce Now. It's good.
RTX, right? Can't go wrong with that for sure. Mark, what's your take on these 3 games?
Just quickly, because I saw, obviously I've logged in but haven't got to play it, but those highlights, so the options it gave me was, do you want us to automatically record, I think it was boss fights and police car chases, is that right?
Ooh.
So that's pretty, the first time I saw that, I was like, wow, okay, that's super interesting that, you can pinpoint exactly when that happens and start recording it for me. That was really impressive to see, and I think another feature that bodes well for GeForce Now. In terms of the games, obviously I haven't had time to look at anything other than Cyberpunk. This is the kind of list I think we said we expected last week with the release of Immortals Phoenix Rising. With a big game, you kind of expect like not a lot else to be added, and we're absolutely fine with it because they did day 1 launch for Cyberpunk. Anything else is a bonus. The fact that it's 2 free games on top is fantastic. The 2 free Steam, the 2 free Epic ones, I feel like it helps because they skipped a week. The other week there was no free game. Here they are making up for it. Here's 2 of them. I haven't had a chance to look at them yet, but they're in the library.
Just claim them.
Yeah.
All right. True. All right. So hold up. I just want to get to the chat. I see you guys are talking on here, and just want to include you guys in our conversations as well. So Kyle is saying, really consider moving to a cloud-based PC like Shadow and buying a low-cost PC for just streaming. What's your take on this, guys? I would say, why not? Again, if finances is an issue for you, right? This is a good alternative and a good option. But yeah, you guys feel free to hop on this one for sure, and then we'll continue.
So I think I might be a good case study for this because of the origins of my channel, essentially. Basically, for the first 1.5 years, my entire channel was powered by Shadow without even having a local machine to touch at all. And this was a while ago when Shadow wasn't, doing all of the things they're doing today. It was pretty much basic. There was one spec. It had a lot more bugs. There was less features. And even back then, it was powering my entire channel. All of the gaming content, all of the streaming, and even still today, everything I edit is all in Shadow. So Yeah, I think it's definitely a viable move now that you just, you don't pay so much for the hardware. You can get a crappy, not even crappy nowadays, a Chromebook, which isn't supposed to be a high powered machine, but Chromebook is a great example, I think, now of the type of things you can get to run on it for a lower price.
Yeah. True. So hopefully that answers your question. So again, seeing some questions here. Again, we'll include you guys, but I think we're gonna save some of these to the end, right? So stick around. Again, this is a good one here. How difficult is it to use GeForce Now and Shield? I would like to answer that and let the panel answer it too, but we'll get to those questions at the end. So have we got to everyone about the 3 games that was released for GeForce Now this week? Right, we have. All right, so again, those are the GeForce Now news. Not a lot here. We're going to move into Stadia, and I feel like, my goodness, the news just does not stop for Stadia. It's been consistent for, I would say, a good 2.5 months now. But so much has been added to Stadia this week. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 games released to the platform this week, right? So these are not just random. I mean, these are not just like little indie titles. I feel like some of them are pretty good, right? So we have SpongeBob Bikini SquarePants, if you want to call it that. We have Figment. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have Valkyrie Chronicles 4 and Destroy All Humans. And I feel like these are decent games, right? So just wanted to talk to the people at the panel. Have you guys played any of this game? I know with Cyberpunk, right? Who has time for these games? But again, great games released. Did you guys purchase any of them? So to get started, Jerry, what's your take on these games releasing to the Stadia platform?
We're probably all going to keep saying the same thing, that we were so limited on time. But did I buy a game that's going to be a pro game in the future? Yes, I did. Destroy All Humans, and I bought it to support the developer. I beat this game back on the original Xbox, Destroy All Humans 1 and 2. I played it again later on, and then when the remake was announced, I was totally freaking out, ready for it, because they didn't just remaster this game, they remade the game from the ground up. It's gorgeous. It plays so well. I know you were checking it out. Yeah. So I haven't checked any of the other games. I thought it was a great drop for Stadia. I think their marketing has been doing better. News has been doing better. Everybody has just been a little bit more positive about Stadia lately, and that's great. But Destroy All Humans, get it, play it. It's a fantastic game, and I grabbed it just to support the developer on there, because I really, really enjoy what they've done with this.
Right. True. Great game. Again, showcased it a little bit. The comedy in there is hilarious.
It's good. I mean, the game is such a good time. It's just a fun game to play, and it'll play well on Stadia. It's not a horrible game to run.
Right.
It's perfect for the platform. It's another kind of genre that's not there that people can go enjoy.
So true. Mark, what's your take on these games? Did you get any of them?
I didn't. If I'm going to pick one up, it will be, as we've just said, Destroy All Humans, just for that nostalgia factor. But yeah, this week haven't picked any of them up. I think if any of us sit here and say that they sat and played SpongeBob over Cyberpunk, then I will travel to you personally for a slap.
SpongeBob is a fun game, though. I must say, this platform, the Stadia platform's missing some decent platform games. I feel that's a category that they should look into, invest in, bring some Sonic over, right? They need something equivalent to Mario, and I don't think they have it. But this game is a good platform game. Not saying you should play it over Cyberpunk, but it's pretty decent. Okay. Any other thoughts with these games, Mark?
With me,
go ahead, Holtz.
With me, it really pains me, because I really wanted SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottle, and Destroy All Humans. I wanted it on Stadia, but with them actually being delayed too much, I did buy them on other platforms. So for SpongeBob, I did buy it on the Switch, and Destroy All Humans, I did play it on Shadow. So it's a shame that it took so long. But anyone that's not played these games, I would sort of bang this drum and say, of course, pick them up. And there was one game that I was really excited on, and I did say I was going to support it, but it was Valkyrie Chronicles 4, and I really wanted to play the complete edition on Stadia and sort of take it on the go with me and stuff like that. But the price of entry was just a little bit too much. I think with Stadia, I'm expecting, with older games that come out a few months after other platforms, I'm expecting day one sales now. So I was expecting it just to be a little bit more cheaper before I actually double dipped on it.
Yeah. How do Sega games do with going on sale on Stadia? Do you know?
No, I've not really been checking the Sega games out myself.
I'm just hoping this does not turn into another Attack of the Titans. The fact that they released this game at this price. Again, you can find this. I was able to get, I don't know if I still have it, but the whole box set for the Switch, right? It's like $100 and something box set. The price dropped significantly low to about, it was $24.99 for the whole entire box set. So I have a hard time paying $50 for just a digital copy. Not saying I have anything about digital versus physical, but the fact that I got this game collection edition for $24.99 and they're asking me to pay $50 for this game. Great game, but not for that price point for sure.
And I feel like the same. I don't know if we're going to cover this in a minute, but with Watch Dogs and stuff like that, seeing them prices just being a little bit over my budget, especially when Ubisoft's been knocking these games out for a few dollars.
Right.
Division, Crew. I'm just expecting it on Stadia just to be a little bit more cheaper. Of course, up the price after a week. There's no harm in that. But just give us day one sales to sort of say, here's an oldest title. Please support the platform. Please support the developer.
Right.
I would have been happy doing that.
True. But hopefully they're not Attack of the Titans, and we'll see a sale in this game. If it does go on sale, I highly recommend that you guys check it out. Probably one of my favorite games for the Switch. A lot of fun for sure. Cool. All right. So more games were added to Google Stadia. It's so crazy, right? We get all this the day before the 9th, and then December 9th, we get hit with Cyberpunk. But not only that, Watch Dogs 1 and 2, again, you talked about the pricing, which I think is highway robbery. And then we have another game, which is, what's it called? What's the name of this game? Unto the End, which is a game that I don't think a lot of people realize is available. I'm talking to people in Discord and talking about this game, and they're like, wait, that's on Stadia? When did it come out? But yeah, these more games, right? So we're counting about 8 games, if I can do math correctly right now, 7 to 8 games releasing for the Stadia platform this week. Insane, guys, insane. And just previous week, we got the 6 Pro games too. So Stadia library just continues to increase. But just these games that we announced with the Watch Dogs and the Unto the End, any of you guys pick those games up? Are you guys excited about any of those games? Anyone can just jump in here.
I mean, I've mentioned before, I just don't like the price of Watch Dogs 1 and 2. I don't know what Ubisoft is playing at. They know that Ubisoft Connect is actually coming to the platform, and this is the most highest price they've actually put for older games, because when they brought out the Division, the Crew and stuff like that, they put the cost really cheap. So I don't know why they're actually hyping Watch Dog 1 and 2 when if I wanted to play a Watch Dogs, I would actually invest my money in Watch Dogs Legions. So I don't think these sales is actually going to help these two titles.
Yeah. It really shocked me to see the pricing of those games, knowing what's coming, hopefully, like they say later on this year with Ubisoft Connect. I just don't get it. But knowing some people, they're going to pick it up. The way they're pricing those games, like Watch Dogs 1 and 2, were like epic masterpieces for the price, and they really were not. Anyway, cool. Did you have anything to say else about that, Holtz? If not, we're gonna move on. All right. So live streaming and crowd choice, right, comes to Google Stadia this week. Again, I feel like with features, what Stadia tends to do is just stall drop them. So again, we knew that this was going to be in beta. People were already testing it, but now it's available to everyone. It's pretty cool to see people who, struggle to stream, like Megatron X. You guys know she used to be a streamer, but she took a break because I think she said she was having internet connection. But with this, you've seen her stream more, right? So again, it's making streaming more accessible and more convenient for everyone. So What's your take on this feature still dropping? Have you guys tried this? Are you guys happy that it is now officially a thing for Stadia? Mark, what's your take on this?
So sorely needed. I think we've all said this in the past. For me, it's Stadia is a platform for people that don't have high end local hardware. That's one of the selling points in the first place, that they can play these games on low spec stuff, Chromecast, things like that. So in the exact same way that the people who may want to share their gameplay content but don't have capture cards and expensive PCs capable of streaming, or even the best internet connection in the world. Maybe it's good enough that they can play the games, but playing and streaming at the same time is a completely different ball game. It requires a definite step up in local network. So yeah, this definitely helps in terms of growing that Stadia content creation kind of user base, people who are not only enjoying the gameplay themselves, but can branch into content creation as well. I think we would all say good luck to them. But where I stand on that, because this is still technically beta, right? That's what the email to me said, is they've they're inviting people into this, and it's a beta feature, and it seems that way at the moment. If this is people's first experience with streaming a game, and they haven't done things with Streamlabs and OBS and Stream Keys and things like that, it's still not quite there in terms of hit a button and go. The bit I don't like and still don't fully understand, if I had to do it myself, because I haven't tried it yet, but if I do set it up, I will need to have a guide in front of me about, because you need to copy and paste part of the URL, which is technically your stream ID or something, and paste that into Stadia, and that I think is where you'll start losing some people. It overcomplicates it for the target market of Stadia, which I think we've seen is people who aren't hardcore gamers. They've been described as more casual, or even I think we don't get these kind of stats with Stadia, unfortunately, but I think maybe the player base is potentially a bit older. Those kinds of people,
right?
Maybe if they wanted to jump into this, that's where you might lose them when it comes to sharing the gameplay through live streams. If the setup process is too complicated, then they won't even give it a go, I don't think. So it's good it's here. It was definitely needed. We've been saying that for a long time. It is here in beta. I think that's evident. So I don't know how much usage we'll see yet until it becomes a bit more seamless and user friendly.
True. Yeah, you're right about people might wait until this is ironed out to start using, but what is really exciting to see is people are having decent success with streaming, again, long streams, and it's I think the only issue that people seem to be having is you can't use your camera, but hopefully they update that, because once that's fixed, I think this might overall be a great thing. But Jared, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think it's something that I've been talking about for a little while on the podcast. Is I think the importance of cloud gaming to streaming is been underestimated for a while, and if Stadia, GeForce Now, other companies can make it easier for people to stream, a lot of people underestimate the amount of PC power it takes to run a game at the same time as you're streaming it. It's extremely difficult. I have an RTX 2060 sitting here with a Ryzen 3600. It's all about to get upgraded, but you wouldn't play Call of Duty and stream this with Streamlabs at the same time. You'll go from 100 FPS to 48 FPS in game. That's just straight up what will happen to you. Cloud gaming stepping in and just kind of filling that gap, absolutely fantastic. Now, Mark's thing about the URL is an issue. We want one button click, eventually a lot easier. Connect your Stadia to your YouTube account, click go live at any time, even create a thumbnail right there while the game is up if you want to, in a little pop-up menu.
Right.
Do all your thing, click go live, it sends it to your channel, and away you go. Ease of use will be important for people that use Stadia a lot and stuff like that. A lot of people who play on Stadia are also used to console gaming, and they're not so much used to Streamlabs OBS and setting up PC and all that. And as I've mentioned, I've got two friends, a couple of people that now use cloud gaming as a way to stream live. And next year when I start doing more live shows, I'm not going to stream local hardware. I'm going to stream cloud stuff because it's going to be a lot easier to do than streaming from local. So I want to see a lot more of this coming for sure. I think cloud gaming can step in a way more than just gaming in more places, but being able to stream for more people.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting is I actually saw people using their Chromebooks to stream, right? The fact that you don't actually need a PC or Mac, you can literally Chromebooks, I'm telling you guys, is becoming a great option for the cloud and cloud gaming. So again, this is pretty cool to see. Well, so what's he taking live streaming finally making its way to Stadia?
Well, I've been waiting months for it, and now it's here. I was really excited for it to arrive, but by the time it actually arrived, I've actually not actually got round to really invest much time with it. I mean, I tried a private stream where I can just test out my microphone, because I've been watching a few YouTubers who were doing live streams, and they seemed a bit washed out on the microphone front. So I don't know what was happening there. So I tried a private stream, and yeah, it worked fine for me. I mean, I wish I could invest more time into it with like Cyberpunk and stuff like that, but no one wants to see a 1080 stream of a bad shot playing Cyberpunk. No one. So, and I got access to the crowd choice beta, but by this time of the year, I don't really think anyone wants to see Outcasters, Dead by Daylight, Mortal Kombat. So I just thought to myself, I might as well just put my time in Cyberpunk and enjoy that. But I hope in a few more months it actually does allow cameras and let us be able to customize our own user interfaces, maybe in a Stadia Studio app, maybe. That would be a nice little feature to have. But I do support it. I do want it to develop, but at the moment I've not really invested in it.
Yeah. No, so true. Definitely some upgrades I can see happening for this, right? And go ahead.
What's so funny is that when I went onto YouTube, and I started recognizing people's names in Stadia. Go, no, they're live streaming now. They're live streaming now. They're live.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of my friends list was
Exactly.
oh, everyone's becoming a streamer.
Which can be a good thing, can be a bad thing. But what interests me is the games that they have available for crowd choice, right? Which is Outcasts, Mortal Kombat, and Dead by Daylight. So YouTube has this thing, I don't know if you guys have been following it, to where your videos used to be demonetized if you tried to stream games with like gore or profanity. That's why most streamers started switching over to Twitch, right? Because again, YouTube was just very strict with that. And it's pretty surprising, pretty interesting that 2 out of the 3 games that they choose in to display for crowd choice is kind of gory games, right? So I don't know if they're trying to like pull people back to YouTube with this. Again, when the apocalypse happened, if you guys have been following that, right? Things just got a little more strict. But yeah, the choices of games to me is really interesting for crowd choice. But what's y'all's take on that?
Well, I was actually going to say, just before we move on, I was going to say what's so great about this stream live and stuff like that is that I could be playing on a terrible bandwidth connection on my phone, but everyone on the internet will sort of be seeing a clean, clear 1080p stream. So I think that's a good little thing. That sort of everyone's getting that, direct from Google.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Even though mine might be a little bit washed out, I don't know, due to the screen. Yeah. But as long as I can play it, still looks good on my views.
Right. So I've been watching, especially like Megatron. I mentioned her earlier, but her stream looks pretty clean. Again, there's something with the voice. It sounds choppy, right? But Holt, you were saying you didn't run into that issue. But yeah.
I mean, I was only doing a private, so I don't know. It depends on people's quality of mics, or maybe it was how they're sending it to the Google stream. I don't know what it was.
Okay. Yeah, but overall, I think we can all agree that this is a good get for Google Stadia. It's pretty cool to see them rolling out this feature before the year end, right? So I think they have done a good job checking a lot of stuff off the list when it comes to the promises and features coming. So yeah, good for them. Good for them. Anyone else want to add to live streaming for the Google Stadia platform? Okay, so we're gonna move onto these really not much other than sales for Stadia. Again, onto the end, $18. Darksiders Genesis. If you guys haven't played this game yet, this is one of the few good, I would say, couch co-op game for this platform. It's only $20. You guys owe it to yourself to check out this game. I feel like this game and Guilt are games that are forgotten because they came out early in Stadia's life cycle. But these are two great games. Again, if you guys haven't experienced it yet, so check it out. Check it out. So that's it for Stadia coverage. Again, if I'm missing something, you guys just let me know. Go ahead.
Can I touch on the last question you were asking about the streaming and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
gore and
yeah.
the rules and
Right.
all that kind of stuff? We can thank
Yes.
competition and Twitch because of how huge that streaming platform is and because of Amazon's tie in there. Dr. Disrespect getting banned from that
Yep.
and coming to YouTube was a big
Huge.
thing for YouTube and fantastic. They're certainly not going to limit the games he can stream. So the more of that we have, the better.
Yeah.
And, you know, they still got a lot of rules. We fill out how much stuff every time we post a video and, you know,
Yeah.
we're trying to make sure everything's right. But because they have all those steps, it does allow for a lot of that. Live streaming is a different thing. Thanks a lot to CDPR for making those streamer-friendly and content-friendly options in the game because it's made it so much easier not to have to go try to cut out music and nudity myself and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yep.
yeah, but I think just competition and Twitch and all of that, YouTube is really competing. They really want to get to the top of streaming to be there for streaming games. They see how big it is. So I think
Yeah.
that's why you see that loosening of restrictions around a lot of that.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Good to know. Hopefully it stays that way. Because again, I just again think it's interesting choices of games that they're offering for crowd choice. By the way, if you ever do listen to this, please bring more games other than Dead by Daylight. Decent game, but there's just something about like I can't stream that game if my kiddos are watching. That's not a game that you stream. It's very limited. Same thing with Mortal Kombat. But bring some games that I would say people would enjoy watching. If they would have implemented crowd choice for Cyberpunk, holy crap.
That would have been insane because that
Holy
game
crap.
actually makes a difference for your entire gameplay as you
Yes.
make choices. Any games that your choices give you different endings or could kill
Exactly.
you or could do stuff would be very exciting for
Right.
crowd play.
So they had that for Baldur's Gate, right? Did they just remove it? I thought it was the
I don't
thing for
remember.
Baldur's Gate 3 when it launched. But
I seem to
now,
remember it was very lackluster in what they could actually interact, what they could
Okay.
actually do. I know Outcasters was a little bit better, but like you said, people are kind of moving on from that. You need a big game like Cyberpunk to bring,
right,
just like Cyberpunk's helping cloud gaming, it would have made that feature relevant.
right. I think that's it. Are they bringing that to Hitman 3 next year? Right? Is that
I
they're
haven't
bringing
heard
the
anything about it.
feature?
That would be
I
cool.
can't remember. Yeah.
Well,
Cool. Go
I would
ahead.
I've always wanted YouTube Music to be part of, Stadia. So I would like to see going in the future, would actually Google say, you're allowed to play YouTube Music playlists in your stream. So they actually say,
Whoa.
you can play Cyberpunk playlist from YouTube Music in your game and will
Wow.
not get copyrighted if you're a YouTube Music subscriber. Because then you'll have the license, won't you? You'll be playing on a verified
Wow.
platform, a verified game, music from their service, and then their streaming platform.
They have a lot of services that can bundle up together for sure. That's a guy. I even think of that. That's pretty good. Cool. So anything else for City? If not, we're gonna move to Amazon Luna.
Yeah. Oh, good. Sosma.
I was just going to say the 8 new countries for Stadia,
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
which we kind of already knew these because they updated their terms of service last month,
Right.
expecting nobody to, there are people who dig through this stuff on a daily
yeah.
basis, expecting nobody to notice, and somebody straight away found the countries and put it up on Reddit. So they reverted that back, and I think the list actually added another countries from when they updated it last month. But just for everyone's awareness, that is Austria, Czechia, Hungary, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, and Switzerland. And it's not even just the announcement this week. It was like, here's the announcement, and by the way, the expansion has already happened. Go for it. They are available in these. It's available to play in these countries right now.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that real quick. You see, Google, right? They just going on their own pace, their own agenda, right? With just the way they are bringing these features to light, they just stealth drop things, right? They talk about it and then they just, whenever it's ready, launch it without giving anyone a heads up. Do you guys like this approach? Or do you think they should do a better job just like hyping, oh, Stream Connect is coming 2 weeks from now? Or do you guys like, oh, shoot, it's Tuesday and we get this without even, knowing that it was coming? What's your take on that? Stealth drops.
They definitely need a middle ground, because in the past we've blasted them for overhyping.
Yeah.
And that's definitely been an issue, especially when it comes to their events. Like, this is going to be the most amazing thing in the world, and they showed 2 trailers for an indie game that you probably come to pro, or something like that. So overhyping is bad, but zero marketing at all is equally as bad.
Yeah.
Some of these, people in these countries, had they known it was coming, and the week of Cyberpunk, then they may very well have waited and bought it on Stadia to play. But not knowing that it was coming to their country, they would have made other arrangements. So how many people they may have lost from these 8 countries, that's not a small number.
Yeah.
So things like that definitely would have helped them if they can, get word about this out sooner. They need that happy middle ground when it comes to their marketing. And I know it's the number one thing we always talk about with Stadia is their marketing. But that's where I land on that one.
Okay. Good to know. Let's go ahead.
There was a game on the Game Awards that I thought looked really interesting. It was called, I can't maybe pronounce it wrong, but I'll have a go at Tichia, which looked like a little island open world game. And the art style really impressed me. And when I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I want to play this game and invest time in the lore, control animals and objects. It really got me excited to actually see it. I mean, there was no release date, whatnot I actually saw, but I actually thought, well, it's good to see that Stadia had a presence in the Game Awards. And of course, Elder Scrolls Online, Gates of Oblivion, that's definitely coming to Stadia. So I've got the Greymore expansion, so I'm really looking forward to seeing more Elder Scrolls expansions coming to Stadia. And of course, there was parts in the Game Awards where I actually seen loads of games, and I was thinking to myself, please just bring it to Stadia. And I really hope that there's a game where EA, it's called It Takes Two, and they're made out like plasticine. Porcelain or sort of clay, and I thought to myself, come on EA, you need to start speaking up now and start saying you actually support cloud services, because there's loads of games that I thought, like the new Mass Effect coming and Dragon Age, I thought I need you to start speaking up now for services like Stadia, because I'm going to be hyping myself up for these games in the upcoming year or so.
I just hope it gets to the place where Stadia is not, or a cloud game is not an afterthought, right? When these games are, being announced, it's like, oh, well, we don't have to worry because, they come to Stadia. I mean, this fall should prove to developers that Stadia can handle. I mean, we got pretty much, except from Call of Duty, majority of the AAA titles, and then Stadia. So hopefully going forward, that will be the case. But yeah, I hear that. So Johnny's saying, just hype it when it's ready. You prefer stealth drops. Yeah. I don't know. I think I like, Mark, you were saying find a good balance. I think I would like that, right? To where I guess stealth drops not bad, but then also hype your stuff up. I guess like knowing what is good and big enough to hype should be key, right? Don't hype up like that little event that they had where it is 5 minutes, right? And they were hyping that up like every day. They give us 5 minutes of info. Don't hype that up. Just drop that. Put that in a blog. But a big event like the last showcase they had is a good event to hype up. So I guess like finding a good middle ground, like Mark was saying, is key.
Yeah, I mean, so like, don't get me wrong, because a stealth drop can be an amazing marketing tool.
Right.
One example that springs to mind is Apex Legends. Like, nobody knew that game was
Oh,
in development, and
yeah.
when that initially launched, it was like,
Something.
by the way, we're not just announcing this; it's launching today. That was, that entire game was a stealth
Yeah.
drop, and using that like played such a good role with their marketing that it spread so quickly and grew so big.
Yeah.
So stealth dropping things is definitely a tactical and effective marketing tool. It just needs to be used right.
Right.
It can't just be, by the way, we didn't prepare enough. So stealth drop it is, because we have no comms and we have nothing ready. We didn't hype it up. Whoops, we forgot. It needs to be tactical.
Right. I can't tell you when Apex was launched how fast streamers, tried to get on to stream that game because it was so unexpected. You saw like a lot of big streamers like rushing to get on, and be one of the first to stream it. But yeah, it did a lot of positive, great things for Apex. So yeah, good point. Good point. All right, so Luna news. Resident Evil 7 was released and is pretty cute because I felt like they weren't getting the big game that everyone was talking about, which was Cyberpunk. And so to combat that, we get cute Resident Evil 7. It's cute. But what's your take on this news, man? Just in general, what's your take on Luna? I'm noticing personally that the hype level is decreasing. So just want to see where you guys are at with Luna and Resident Evil 7 being released. So Holtz, what's your take on this?
Well, I was saying this last week, and when I saw this Resident Evil 7, I just face palmed my head and I was saying, where is Resident Evil 2 and 3 remastered? I said this last week.
Yeah,
That was
you did.
bundled together as the
Yeah.
collection, and it was sort of pushing towards the Capcom channel. I would have been excited going, well, Capcom supports Luna.
Yes.
But just getting this older title, and there's another 2 games afterwards, makes me thought, oh my god, this games became free on loads of like PlayStation Plus, PlayStation, Xbox, and that a lot of people have got it. You're not really exciting anyone with this game.
Yeah.
And they should have pushed for a bigger title.
I didn't even think of this, but you make a good point by saying they should have just used this to bring more Capcom games and launch a Capcom channel. It's perfect opportunity. But yeah,
people are going to see these like quality of games, and they're going to see these games, and they're just going to call it like a bargain bin of streaming. That's what they're going to do.
Yep.
I don't want that. I really want it to be really successful, but they would have to bring at least the game. I mean, a lot of people complained that Fallen Jedi Order was too old within a year. So getting Resident Evil 7 after all these years is literally
yeah. It's when Luna was announced at first, we were all kind of excited for it. I don't know if I can speak for you guys, but the channel option had me really, really excited because that's something that I felt no one was kind of doing. And I thought to myself, if they can have a decent portfolio of, games that like a Netflix service type of games, and then offer like channels to bring AAA titles to the platform. That is something no one else is doing, and so I was actually really hyped up for them. But now I'm really concerned. Really, after playing it, spend some time with it, I'm just like, I don't know. But that's where I'm at with Luna. Jared, where are you? You have the beta, right? You haven't even tested it yet.
I've put it on a few machines. I've been there. I've loaded up Control and Valhalla. I've played some Valhalla on my phone and on a couple of PCs. And stuff. Here's the thing for me. I'm gonna be very easy on Luna because they did what I wanted Stadia to do, and they came out in beta. They haven't released yet. Technically, they're not an actual competitor in the cloud gaming space until they take away the word beta. So I'll give them a lot for that. We are testing the infrastructure for them. We're testing the connection, the speed, how well things are going, and all of us that have access now are really just helping get things ready for when it really comes out. Resident Evil 7, nobody cares. But in the end, when that's one of many games on the library for many different gamers, that's when we will care. We always said the same thing on Stadia: games, games, games. They're getting games, games, games. And I think Luna is about a year behind Stadia. So watch where they go for fall of 2021 more than where they're at now. My experience has been pretty good. I think Valhalla ran pretty well. It's didn't run as well as GeForce Now. It didn't run as well as Stadia in some aspects, but because it's running the PC version, I was able to do a lot more to get the performance I wanted out of it. I'm
Right.
still excited to see what the channels do, but I honestly think we're 6 months to a year away from seeing coming out of beta phase possibly and having the kind of channels that we're going to talk about wanting here and stuff like that. It's just going to take a little while. I am still really excited to see where it goes, but of course the hype's a little less because not a lot of people have access. It's only the US. Even all the people requesting access aren't getting it.
Yeah.
And with Cyberpunk being out, and of course they don't have it being in beta, I'm not really blaming them for not putting Cyberpunk on Luna to be shown to the world yet. So I'll give them a lot of slack there. I am still really hyped and excited to see where it goes, but I'm also patient. And I think Luna's 6 months to a year out before it's a service that takes itself seriously.
Okay. Good point. We'll see. And I like what you said. You know, Stadia came out just claiming that they were a full-fledged, you know, console competitor, as to where Luna's in beta right now. And so we can give them a lot of grace, but I'm not giving them too much grace. I give them to the summer of next year to pick things up. You know, like if they don't, then we're gonna have a lot to say. But I think by fall of next year, they should hopefully be out of beta. They should have a solid platform. They should have more channels. So that should be exciting, right? So, Mark, what's your take, man?
Yeah, agree. Like right now, it has gone particularly quiet, like to the point where I didn't even know Resident Evil 7 was added this week, because when I did my usual kind of collection of news stories and typed in Amazon Luna, there weren't even any articles dated in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The last things were like a month ago. People who got access to like the they got their first access to it and they wrote a quick review. That was the only thing coming up in my news feed. And yeah, agreed. Like it is in beta. The beta access has kind of slowed down a bit. You see the occasional tweet saying check your inbox because more people want it, but it is just in the US. It's not a large amount of people. So, and absolutely agreed. Until kind of that time next year where they are ready to go out of their beta stage and be a full-fledged competitor, I have faith that they have a good plan in place, and all of this is intentional. They're not just like letting stuff die on purpose, and it will get to a point where we are kind of talking about it like we do with a lot of the others, like week by week, instead of for the first time in 3 weeks they add 7 week by week. We'll be discussing either the list of games that they added or the new channels that they added, hopefully.
Right. True. Again, give it time. We'll come back to Luna sometime next year and really be critical with it. But yeah, so far it's still in beta, and I think they did a good job by putting that beta tag. If not, people would have had a lot to say. They learned a lot from Google Stadia, it looks like. All right, so xCloud news, if you guys weren't aware, it's officially being confirmed that xCloud beta is going to be coming to iOS and PC spring 2021. It's something we've been hoping to hear and have a confirmation date. But what's your take on this? Are you guys excited? I think it would be great to come to PC, but my goodness, do not come here giving us 720p, please. Like at least 1080 max, please. For the love of God, do not give us 720. And again, it'll be cool to get iOS support because I know a lot of people here use iOS. So, but what's your take on this, man? Start with Mark.
Yeah, more excited for the Windows version of the application.
Right.
Not big in the Apple ecosystem. Seeing it come to Windows 1, I personally hope to give it a bit more use because it's fun to jump into the Android app occasionally and kind of check it out. And I've watched it progress and the quality improve, but I can't do long gaming stints on my phone. I just for some games it's downright disrespectful. Like I don't think I would even touch Cyberpunk on my phone. That just wouldn't do it justice at all.
Yeah.
So seeing it come to a fully fledged Windows application, having it in front of me on the machine I sit at like 15 hours a day, it's going to make it more accessible than it just being on my phone. As you said, absolutely, it cannot even dare come out in 720 to be even in with a chance of being spoken about it at minimum.
Right.
1080. By which point, spring 2021 is hopefully far enough away that my biggest complaint in this ecosystem that they're building is the current inconsistencies. And I think I talked about this last week as well. Is like that list of games they're releasing this month. They're all over the place. Like some titles are xCloud and PC only, some are console and xCloud only, and that makes it very confusing to be a consumer with them at the moment. So hoping if it gets to a point where xCloud is in the same place as your library for Game Pass for PC, then they should mirror each other. It should be one platform. You're looking at that list, and the option is: do you want to install it? Do you want to stream it? And the game library is one unified thing. It shouldn't be this and that. And
Agreed for sure. And I think it would be cool to see if we do get the Series X Blade by spring 2021. Hopefully that's, something that they're pushing for too. But yeah, performance is another issue that I have with xCloud. But Host, what's your take on this?
Well, I'm not really happy with Microsoft because what happened this event is they announced that Flight Simulator was coming to the Series X and S. Right, and we all know that they've actually told us that Series X cards and stuff like that are going to become the new xCloud machines. So when I was watching this Game Awards, I was like, here's your chance, Microsoft, to actually say Flight Simulator is going to be available on Game Pass and you can play it on the new upgraded servers of xCloud, because GeForce is partnering with the Game Awards, and I would have thought, Microsoft, here's your chance now to say to GeForce now, the big boys are coming in now with these big titles and their servers. So when they didn't announce that, it made me think to myself, oh, we're going to be stuck with 720 for a bit. And we're going to be stuck with games that we don't really need, and it's all over the place. Because if they did have the option to bring out Flight Simulator, they would have told us.
Yeah,
and that's me being impatient, and we're only 3 months away from spring, and I'm like, that was your chance to start pushing your cloud narrative with a huge game a lot of people can't play on a PC.
True. I just thought about this too, these rumors of the new Halo game delayed to spring 2021. So I wonder, like, if this is kind of like a package that they're trying to bring as a whole, right? The release of Halo, xCloud Series X Blade, possibly higher than 720 and PC. So this might be like a thing that they're trying to bundle all together.
I really hope so. I really hope so. Like I said, I'll forgive them if they said Halo up to 4K on the Xbox Game Pass service. I'll be really amazed. Cool. I really would.
That'd be cool. Jerry, I know you're a big Xbox and Microsoft guy. What's your take on all this, man?
I mean, everyone has said it well. Microsoft's taking their time with the service, a lot like Google has with Stadia and other ones. It's going to come to PC. It's not going to come in 720. So that's why we haven't seen it yet. There was original rumors that November it was going to come for PC, and it didn't happen. So they obviously weren't ready to push for the 1080p. I think just like you see on GeForce Now, every PC game you own is not available on GeForce Now. Every Xbox game you own is never going to all be available on xCloud. This is a digital rights issue between the publishers, developers, Microsoft, paying money, getting licensing. They've got to go and get permission from every single one of these developers to put a game on xCloud. They don't get to just do it. That's why first-party games are all going to be there. They will be there in the future. They'll be on Game Pass. They'll be on your console, your PC, xCloud. There will be continuity of all Xbox exclusive games on all those across the board, but I don't think you'll ever see full continuity for third-party games across the board. It's really choppy right now, choppy waters in cloud gaming. Maybe in 3, 4, 5 years, you might see just developers automatically click cloud, 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 and let them go. But we've seen the issues with GeForce Now. We've seen publishers leave there. We've seen them not want to opt
Right.
in, and Microsoft is facing the exact same thing. They can't just put the game on there. It's not
Yeah.
up to them.
True.
So I don't think you'll ever see that full continuity for third party, but you're going to see it for first party. And to me, that's what matters. That's what matters for Game Pass. That's what matters for xCloud, is that all their first party titles will be available for you on your console, your PC, or your cloud. And that's going to be the most important thing for that service going forward anyways.
So true.
Remember, spring is until June 20th of next year. So the 21st is the first day of summer. So we've got a long ways. We've got, almost 6, 7 months before spring is over. So we've got that long to give them to get some Series X blades going and to get the fuller resolution, to get everything rolling. If they're saying spring 2021, we still got quite a long ways to go.
True. I agree with you. The first party games are what's gonna highlight. It's a bummer that game. So that's why, like, when they get a third party game, I'm not really excited for it, because I'm like, you're leaving soon, right? But then, we know they've invested so much money in the first party and second party studios. So those are the games that really I'm excited for when it comes to xCloud for sure. Cool. Mark, did we cover you here? We did. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we have not a lot of time, and I do want to take some time to answer some questions. But Shadow had a little mini event. Chief had to actually tell me about this. I wasn't even aware this was happening. But Mark, if you watched it, can you just address the chat, let them know what this event was about, and just a quick highlight of it if you can.
You're catching me off guard. I have no idea.
Well, there you go. So I will be honest, I didn't really catch it as well. It was on Twitch, and I was just.
Was it Crusader Kings?
It might have. Honestly speaking, I tried to actually search to see if anyone wrote any article on it, and I couldn't find anything, so I didn't post it. But just so you know, there was a little news for Shadow, and if you go on the Twitch, you can watch the Twitch and understand what the news was. I haven't watched it personally, but you guys can if you guys were wanting to know what.
So the only thing I'm aware of is they have a partnership with Paradox Games or Paradox Development Studio, who make Crusader Kings free.
Right.
And that is why they were streaming that game. And I think they will be streaming that for the next few weeks. The thing they've come across now, the reason why they don't stream a lot of things on their own channel is because they progressed past the point of being a small kind of developing company where they can get away with streaming games openly. They're at the size where they need official proper licensing and everything like that from the studio, so they can't stream things themselves, so they need these kind of partnerships in place, which is why they probably did this mini event with Crusader Kings, to kind of just celebrate that official partnership with a studio, so that they could do that. The only other thing I'm aware of from this week is client update version 3.7.5. There's a couple of cool things in there. Quick Menu now has your local network connectivity status. So if your local network dips below a good quality, a little notification will come up to show that you had a dip, and that will explain any performance issues you might see. However, that paired with their most recent bandwidth, dynamic bandwidth feature, that should take over, adjust your bandwidth, and you shouldn't actually see any performance issues. So that's more of a FYI, you had a drop, but we sorted it. So that's kind of cool. And they've also added controller support for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5's DualSense controllers. And there was a bunch of other stuff, small bug fixes and things like that. The full changelog is on their community forum.
Right. I think they mentioned, thank you for the update, Mark. I remember catching a glimpse of the episode, and they said something about Red Dead Redemption 2 being a game that you can play now. I think it was removed once for Shadow, but now it's a game that you can play. Do you know anything about Valkyrie? That's a game that I've been hearing a lot of people asking, can you play that yet on Shadow? Do you know if that's a thing yet?
You still can't. That's still
Okay.
who is Valkyrie's? Is it somebody help me out? Their publisher, the
Yeah,
giant Chinese one who owns absolutely everything.
Tencent.
Tencent. There we go.
there you go.
Yeah, that's just their stance on accessing their game from a virtual machine. They just don't allow it. Shadow has reached out. They are too big to even respond, I think. So I don't see it coming. But it shows they can make progress, because I think that was a very similar stance. And that was the same issue with Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
And that got sorted. So, it's not impossible that support could come.
Yeah. True. So we're going to quickly get into questions. And so Johnny says Meg has really bad internet connection since she moved. Yes. So she's now using streaming, the live Stadia streaming. And so far, I've watched some of her streams. Definitely not up to par with her previous quality, but good enough. And people seem to be, including myself, happy that she's back streaming. Right.
It would be interesting to get her take on that if she wanted to join in for an episode.
Say that again.
It'd be interesting to get her take on how she's finding streaming for it if we did her on.
True, and we might do that, because I do want to start bringing more guests to this podcast. So yeah, we'll definitely try and check in with her and see how the whole experience has been. Anything else here stand out? Will xCloud be available in PC and browser? I think we just talked about this. There's been confirmation that spring of next year, we should be seeing this.
Yeah, I answered that one in the chat.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Mark. Do you have a ranking for favorite service? I think we've talked about just real quick. How many? Yeah, we got 2 minutes. If y'all can answer in 30 seconds where y'all stand with which platform you'd prefer as your go-to now, where would it be?
Stadia's always been my number one in a sense to go to. And of course, Microsoft is getting bigger because the games that they're providing. So, they're providing me Yakuza 3, 4, 5 in Game Pass, and that excites me. So, Stadia number one, and xCloud for the content.
Okay. Jared, where do you stand with this now?
For cloud PC, as much as I love maximum settings, I still go Shadow a lot for main. I mean, Cyberpunk runs on there, and it doesn't run over there, unfortunately. Shadow just always works for me.
It does.
And as far as a cloud service, I love GeForce Now, Stadia both, but GeForce Now definitely.
Cool. Mark, where do you stand?
Yeah, I think mine's same as Jerry. Go-to is Shadow for most gaming, and just the fact that it's a PC. I find, even though I have a local PC, I find that it automatically launches up, and I do all of my day-to-day kind of stuff in Shadow as well. So that's kind of cool. And then purely gaming cloud services, exact same order. I think it's GeForce Now, then Stadia, and then Microsoft at the moment. We'll see what happens in spring 2021.
Right. Yeah, so I would rank mine Stadia number 1, GeForce 2, Shadow 3, xCloud 4, and then Luna 5. If you really want
I guess PlayStation Now was 6.
Hey, they have to come and show up, man. They broke a lot of promises for me, so they gotta, win their way back to my heart, man. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what I have a feeling they're cooking up something, so we'll see.
What's PlayStation Now?
There we go. There we go. So Andrew, hope that answered you. That's funny. Yeah, what is PlayStation Now, man? But I think it was you, Mark. Someone did a video recently and got a lot of views on PlayStation Now. There seems to be some people interested in it, but again, a lot of work needs to be done.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people are interested in, because Sony pushed a handheld device that had PlayStation Now, a client on TVs, a client on mobile, and they did the huge push, and no one was really interested in it. So, if they had that infrastructure back then,
Yeah.
there would have been a big, huge following for it, or a big increase in subscription.
So I was trying to get my brother, and I did convert him to get a pre-order Cyberpunk and get Stadia for it. And his first thing was, okay, so I played PlayStation Now, and I thought the experience was decent until I actually went and bought a PS4 Pro, and I was playing Tomb Raider on there, and then I got a PS4 Pro and I played Tomb Raider on there, and I said after that I'm never gonna play cloud gaming platform ever, because the experience was night and day from physical to digital. And he was like, "There's no way you can convert me, because I know Stadia is gonna be like that too."
And of course, with PlayStation, it's got the huge majority of hardware owners, and they're probably looking at that icon on their desktop and going, "We hate PlayStation now."
Yeah,
they must do.
yeah. So in a way, I feel like they've been, giving people bad taste of cloud games. So I told him, he had a Mac. I was like, "Look, go log into my account, test out Valhalla." That was the game he was interested in, and he was blown away. And he went and pre-ordered Cyberpunk. But yeah, Sony needs to update game with the PlayStation Now service, man. Seriously, can't stress that enough. But Andrew, I hope that answers your question. But just want to give this panel a second to just plug their channels and let you guys know where you can find them. So, Mark, where can they find you, sir, and what do you do?
At MarkWattsVLG over on Twitter and YouTube, weekly YouTube videos, cloud gaming news, VR content. And once again this week, I'm going to call out my TikTok, because I have posted there every day this week for my 3D printing content, some of which amazingly takes about a minute to edit, and they have got more views than my YouTube videos that take 6 hours. So
wow. Are you dancing yet? That's what
I'm
they
not
want
dancing.
to know, Mark.
That we'll save that for something special. But if you did want to check that out, that's Mark VLG on TikTok.
That's cool. That's cool. Check it out, guys. How about you, Jerry? Where can they find you? What do you do?
Yeah, Game Tech Planet on YouTube and Twitter, and I'm laughing because I'm seeing Chief's comment down there, and I'm thinking I literally left my 4K edit to come do this, and now I've got to go do 3 hours of editing before I can put my 4K comparison video up.
God.
I'm like, no, Chief, you should have been here.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, Chief. Yeah,
He's doing great stuff with
Oh my
Cyberpunk. I mean,
God.
I know he hasn't slept. I mean, I haven't slept, but like, I don't know. I can't crank him out as fast. I'm trying. I've got 3 videos I'm editing on Cyberpunk now, with 3 more planned, which is going to make like 14 videos on Cyberpunk alone. But like, he's cranking through them. Freaking great job.
He's not sleeping. Let me tell you that he is absolutely not sleeping. So it's been working. But Jerry, you too, man. You guys have been cranking out some. You've been cranking out some good stuff too, for sure.
Thank you.
So that giveaway, is this still going on?
It's done. We got
It's
our winner.
done.
NVIDIA is shipping the prize. My community member shipping the prize, and Max Settings is in talks with them now to give them their cloud PC and their Cyberpunk
cool.
game. So,
How cool.
yeah, it was excellent. It went to somebody right here in the U.S. that could really use it, that was really excited and said they never win anything. So I felt really good about the giveaway. It was a really great ending for me to be that way. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for bringing that up.
That's awesome. By the way, again, I can't stress how dope that giveaway was. But yeah, I'm glad someone won. And again, someone who really would appreciate that. Cool. How about you, Holtz? Where can they find you and what do you do, sir?
This week I'm going to actually start playing a bit of it. I'm going to see if I crowd play with Mortal Kombat 11 with Direct Stream. So if anyone wants to kick my butt at Mortal Kombat and just hear me talk about the characters, you're more than welcome to join the Cloud Gaming Club. And who knows, I might beat you, but it might be a bit of fun. But if anyone's sick or tired of Cyberpunk with the bugs, come and have a game of Mortal Kombat on Stadia.
Yeah. I was decent when that game first came out, but I haven't played in a while, so I might take you up on that.
With game, you sometimes there's people out there, you think you're good, and then you load up, and then you just get
you go online, yeah.
You barely touch the floor, and these people just perfected, killed you, and then you're like, never coming back here again.
That is so true. All right, fellas, appreciate you guys watching. Again, check out these awesome guys. They do make awesome content, and we'll be back at it next Saturday, 2 p.m. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Till next time, fellas. Peace out.